Hello, brothers and sisters. Um, this is my testimony and how the Lord showed up for me, got me a new job, promoted me on that job within 2 months of my being on it, and increased my earnings by 4 times while I was on this job, all in 2 months. This story starts in during COVID in 2021, and it was a time when the World Health Organization was demanding that everyone that worked in a hospital get a COVID shot. It was mandatory to have a COVID shot, and if you wanted to keep your job, and they gave us a deadline. It was October 31st, 2021. And if you hadn't had your shot by that time, then they escorted you off the grounds, off of your job. Well, right before October, during the summer of that year, I inquired of the Lord and asked him if it was something he wanted me to do, to take the shot. And he said no. And I was okay with that. I was okay with it. Even if I hadn't been, I would not have done it because he didn't want me to do it. And so by the time October 2021 came around, I was escorted off my job. I was without a job, and I went home, and I thought I would feel some sort of anxiety or anxiousness or worry. I felt nothing like that. As a matter of fact, once I got home, the Lord, he wanted me to wait the whole month of November on looking for a job. He didn't want me to look for a job. He wanted me to spend time with him. He wanted me to spend that November with him and not look for a job. And that's exactly what I did. I spent time praising and dancing and singing and attempting to read the Bible. And so when December came around, or late November, early December, I began looking for a job. It was really easy. I mean, the Lord just laid it out for me. It was a laboratory job. It wasn't exactly, but it was a temporary job. But it paid twice the amount that I was getting paid at the hospital job, and I took it. And it lasted until April 2022. And it wasn't even supposed to last that long. It was supposed to last at the end of December, possibly a little bit in January, but it ended up lasting for quite some time, so I was able to save some money. And I began looking, and I said, Lord, I have to look for a real job. I want a job in a hospital. I still wanted a job in a hospital. My background is healthcare, so I wanted to, be in a hospital. I was interested in a particular type of job, and I saw an advertisement for it. I went to the job interview. At the job interview, the specific role that I wanted to apply for, they weren't really considering me for, but they did consider me for something else that I wasn't as interested in. I took it anyway because I figured, and even talking to the representative, once I'm in, we can, see how, sometimes, you just take a situation just to see how it goes. And perhaps you can even move into other, once you're in the door, you can always move into another role if you wish. So I took the job that I didn't exactly want. It was working in an operating room, and it was fine. It was a little deceptive, however. At the job interview, they made it sound like one thing when it was really something completely different. It was an extremely strenuous job. It was physically demanding, and it was even a little dangerous. There was it was an operating room, and my role was to be in the midst of a lot of blood, and it was dangerous. It was one of those jobs where there was a high turnover rate. they couldn't keep people. They couldn't keep people working. And seriously, within the month that I worked there, I was looking for another job. I was like, I can't continue to do this. It's not what I signed up for. And an opportunity came where, and you know, I'm thinking, okay, you know, let me just go back a little bit. Within that month, I decided to start looking for another job. First, I looked internally, but I was also looking externally. During that time, I decided to fast. I am not a good faster, and this is the first time I'd ever fast for the duration that I did. It was a Daniel fast. I did not eat from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then I had like a salad. And I did this for 21 days, for a month. The month that I worked in the hospital and in this new job. You know, number one, I did it in celebration of the Lord finding me just this job anyway, because I enjoyed working in the hospital, I always do. And I enjoyed working in the OR. I did want to be stationed in the OR, not in a specific role I was in, but, you know, I was close, so it was fine. By the end of that 21-day fast, by the end of the month of the first, you know, month that I worked there, my supervisor saw my work, thought I was doing an incredible job, and decided, hey, you know, I'm going to put your name in for a promotion to this other position, this other role, which was completely different from what I was doing. So it was really just a job reassignment all the way around. It was a promotion because it paid more, and it was really what I walked into that interview that day looking to get. I was looking to get that particular role. So I was ecstatic. I was like, wow, this is great. So I just began praising the Lord all the more. I was like, wow, Lord, you're going to give me a promotion. So before the promotion came around, this was the initial job I went in with. It was high turnover, like I said. I mean, there were just times people wouldn't show up for work, many, many times. And you didn't know what the day was going to look like from one day to the next. Eventually, and usually, this was a 28-room operating department. So, and for my department, when I worked in, we needed it no less than at least 10 people working on the floor during our shift. One day I walk in and nobody showed up on the shift. Absolutely nobody showed up on this shift. I was all by myself. And I didn't think twice about it. I'm like, I'm here, you gotta do it, and this is what's gotta happen. So I do my job and I do it all day long, and I don't complain, I just did it. The next day, my supervisor, you know, put me on a pedestal and, you know, made a big deal out of it. And it actually was kind of a big deal. It was a lot of work for one person. Like I said, shortly after that, he put me in line for a promotion. So I got that promotion. At the end of my fast, after I got the promotion, my income not just doubled, but it quadrupled. It quadrupled. 21-day Daniel fast. I get a promotion and my income quadrupled. Thanks be to God. The Lord is wonderful. The Lord's good. He's wonderful. I was very happy with that job. I was learning so much in my new role. And just being able to save money finally, you know, because I hadn't been able to do it for a while. It was just great. And that is just my testimony on how the Lord showed up for me after being faithful to Him, and he showed who he really is. He's our God. He's our Lord. He's Jehovah Rapha. He gives us what we want. He takes care of us. And that's my testimony.